All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power, and what an Olympia we just witnessed. I think the results of Men's Open and Classic Physique were results that weren't expected. So let's go to Men's Open first because that was probably the most shocking of all the outcomes here. But I think it was very fair, and I think I agree with 100% of what these decisions were. So fifth place went to William Bonac, fourth place went to Hadi Chupin, and probably the biggest surprise of the night, third place went to Phil Heath, your seven-time Mr. Olympia, who came back looking for redemption. After losing in 2018, he came back trying to tie the record of Lee Haney and Ronnie Coleman, and he fell quite a bit short of that. And this, to me, actually really gives me a lot of faith in the judging at the Olympia, because a lot of people were saying, because of politics, Phil's going to win. People want him to be eight-time Mr. Olympia. He's seven-time Mr. Olympia. He's got the advantage. The judges are going to want him to win. It's better for business if Phil wins. He's got this documentary coming up. People were saying it's rigged. I think this decision really affirms the fact that the judging is fair because, honestly, Phil was off. We got to admit it. His midsection was still an issue. It was clearly, he still had trouble controlling it. His lower body, especially when you compared him to Ramy, just really did not hold up. And look, a lot of people wrote off Brandon Curry. They said that Phil is just going to walk all over him and come in and take this title. And a lot of the conversation going into this show was that Phil was going to win. No one was even really talking about Ramy potentially winning. Ramy got the special invite. A lot of bodybuilders were even saying Ramy didn't deserve to be there because he didn't qualify. And here Ramy is winning the show. So Phil took third, Brandon took second because I felt Brandon was in much better shape than Phil. I think his conditioning was better. His structure was better, obviously. He had much better control of his midsection during all the mandatory poses. And I think simply the judges didn't reward Phil for not improving upon the areas where everybody wanted him to improve. I think that's what it came down to, and I think this was a really, really good judging call. A lot of people thought Phil was just going to get the title because, hey, he's Phil Heath. Phil seemed very confident going into this, and I think this was the right call. Phil was off. I think Brandon was better. Let's not overshadow the fact that Brandon just beat Phil here. Even though Brandon didn't win the Olympia, I think he still did a good job of defending the Olympia that he won by beating seven-time Mr. Olympia Phil Heath. I think Brandon really solidified himself as a real Mr. Olympia winner because Phil was the guy that people thought was going to beat Brandon, and Brandon beat him, and I think Brandon actually beat him pretty easily. Looking back at the actual comparisons, Brandon was in much better condition than Phil, and I'm really proud of Brandon too. But let's talk about Big Ramy for a second here, because Big Ramy, that is the story of the night. Big Ramy did kind of the unbelievable here, what nobody really thought was possible, nobody was really talking about, and I could not be happier for Big Ramy. For years,